Marcus did not expect trouble that morning, but the way Olivia stepped up to the counter told him something was not right. Her fingers shook as she held out her card, her eyes fixed on his face like she was searching for air. When he handed her the drink, she leaned closer and whispered, "I wish you were mine. Keep the change," placing a $100 bill in the tip jar. Marcus froze. "Why would you say something like that?" he asked quietly. Olivia swallowed hard, her voice breaking a little. "Because I cannot hold it inside anymore. I have been fighting it for months, and today I could not pretend." The cafe fell silent. Marcus felt something heavy settle in his chest, something he did not understand yet. He had no idea that her trembling hands, her sudden confession, and that single $100 bill were the first signs of a storm he never saw coming. Marcus stood behind the counter trying to steady himself because the moment kept replaying in his mind. Olivia had just walked out, leaving the cafe heavy with silence. Her whispered words still sat inside him like a weight he could not move. He did not understand why her voice sounded so weak, why her hands shook when she placed the $100 bill in the tip jar, or why she looked at him like she had been carrying something for a long time. He picked up the cup she had left on the counter and wiped the small ring of water under it, trying to calm his thoughts. His breath felt uneven. Nothing in his life ever shifted like this, not in one moment, not with one sentence. But her words stayed. "I wish you were mine." Those words refused to leave him. Sienna, his co-worker, stood at the espresso machine watching him closely. She touched his arm gently. "Marcus, what just happened?" she asked quietly, as if speaking too loud would break something fragile in the room. Marcus shook his head. "I do not know what she meant," he said, his voice low. "I do not know why she said that." Sienna looked toward the door Olivia had walked through. "She was shaking, Marcus. People do not shake like that for nothing." He knew she was right. Olivia had looked scared, not in a loud way, not in a way people notice instantly, but in a quiet way that sits behind the eyes. The kind of fear people try to hide because they do not want anyone to ask questions. Marcus stepped back from the counter for a moment and leaned against the wall. He felt confused, surprised, and strangely sad, all at once. Olivia came in every Tuesday and Thursday at the same time. Always calm, always put together, always quiet. He had never seen her look so fragile, so unsure of herself. He remembered the way she whispered, "I cannot pretend anymore." Why would a rich woman, a woman who looked like she had everything, speak like someone who was breaking inside? Marcus felt something tighten in his chest. He did not know her well, but he knew pain when he saw it. "Brian," the shift manager, walked out of the back room with a clipboard in his hand. "Everything okay out here?" he asked, not because he cared deeply, but because the sudden silence bothered him. Before Marcus could answer, a customer approached the counter. He forced himself to focus, greeting the older man with a soft smile and taking his order. But even while preparing the drink, Marcus felt the truth pressing on his mind. Something was wrong with Olivia. Something serious. He did not know what, but he had seen enough hurt in his life to recognize the signs. When the rush died down, Marcus finally picked up the $100 bill Olivia had left. He held it between his fingers for a long time. The bill felt heavier than it should. People left tips all the time, but no one left money like this. No one whispered confessions like they were begging someone to hear them. Sienna came closer. "She has feelings for you, Marcus," she said softly. "It does not make sense," he replied. "She is a successful woman. Someone like her would never want someone like me." "You do not get to decide that," Sienna said gently. "People surprise us." Marcus looked at her, his voice barely above a whisper. She looked scared. Sienna nodded slowly. "Maybe she is." The thought bothered him more than the confession itself. If Olivia was scared, what was happening in her life that pushed her to break down inside a coffee shop? Why did she look like she wanted to cry but forced herself not to? Why did her voice sound like someone who had been silent for too long? He tried to push it away, but he could not. Olivia had always looked strong, confident, calm. Today she looked like someone begging to be noticed before she disappeared completely. When his shift ended, Marcus walked out into the cold Chicago air and pulled his jacket tighter around him. The sky was gray, the wind sharp, and the streets busy with people rushing to work, not caring about anyone around them. Chicago always moved fast, but Marcus walked slowly, his thoughts heavy. He took the train home, sitting by the window, watching the city pass by. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw Olivia's face, her trembling hands, her sad eyes, her voice breaking as she whispered to him. Something inside him stirred, something he could not ignore. When he reached his small apartment, he placed his backpack on the chair and sat on the edge of his bed. The room felt colder than usual. He kept replaying the scene, trying to understand what pushed her to speak so suddenly. He reached for his phone. His thumb hovered over the contact list. Even though he did not have her number, he wanted to talk to someone, anyone, because his mind was too loud. He finally called Tyler. Tyler picked up on the second ring. "What's going on, man?" he asked. Marcus took a slow breath. "Something happened at work," he said. "Something I cannot explain." Tyler listened as Marcus told him everything, in simple words. The trembling hands, the whisper, the $100 bill, the sadness in her eyes, every detail. When Marcus finished, Tyler stayed quiet for a moment. "Bro," he finally said, "this is not normal. People do not speak like that unless they are drowning in something." "That is what scares me," Marcus replied. "She looked like someone asking for help without saying it." Tyler sighed. "And she chose to say it to you." Marcus felt that sentence hit him deeply. He did not know why she chose him. He did not even know what she truly wanted. All he knew was that something was coming, something big. Tyler asked, "She said she would come back tomorrow, right?" "Yes," Marcus whispered. "Then be ready. Something is going on in her life, and you stepped into it without knowing." Marcus rubbed his face with both hands. He felt tired, but not from work, from worry, from confusion, from the strange pull he felt toward a woman he barely knew. As he lay down that night, the city lights pressed through his window, soft and distant. His room stayed quiet, but his thoughts did not. Tomorrow felt close and far at the same time. Marcus whispered into the silence, "Why did you look so sad, Olivia?" He closed his eyes, knowing deep inside that tomorrow would not just bring answers, it would bring more questions he might not be ready for. Marcus woke up before the sun rose, long before his alarm could ring. He lay still for a moment, staring at the ceiling, feeling the same heaviness from the day before. Sleep never came to him fully. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw Olivia standing at the counter with trembling hands, whispering words she looked afraid to say out loud. He sat up slowly, rubbing the back of his neck. The room felt cold even though he had closed the window. Maybe it was not the room. Maybe it was the worry that settled in his chest and refused to move. Today was the day Olivia said she would return. Today was the day he would finally understand what pushed her into that moment. The thought made his stomach tighten, not out of fear, but out of something deeper, something he did not have a name for. He dressed quietly, drank a small cup of water, and stepped outside. The early morning air of Chicago felt sharp on his skin. The streets were still waking up, the sky still dark, the city lights still glowing faintly. Marcus walked toward the train station, each step slow, his mind filled with questions he could not answer alone. When he reached Java Bean Café, the lights inside were still dim. He unlocked the door and stepped in, the quiet space welcoming him in a soft way. He turned on the lights, one switch at a time, watching the cafe brighten slowly. It reminded him of how people open up, a little at a time, never all at once. He sighed and began his morning tasks, wiping the counters, checking the pastries, filling the machines. He tried to stay focused, but his thoughts drifted every few minutes. The sound of the front door opening startled him. It was only Sienna. She walked in with her hair tied back and her jacket folded over her arm. "You did not sleep, did you?" she asked, watching his tired eyes. Marcus shook his head. "I could not," he said softly. "She will come," Sienna said. "You will get your answers." Marcus nodded. Even though a small part of him felt uncertain, what if she did not come? What if yesterday was a moment she regretted? What if he had misunderstood everything? Time moved slowly. The first customers trickled in. The soft sound of voices filled the space. The smell of coffee spread across the room. But Marcus felt disconnected from all of it. His eyes kept moving to the door every few seconds, waiting for 7:15 to arrive, waiting for Olivia to appear. At 7:10, Sienna walked past him and whispered, "Just breathe." At 7:15, the door opened. Olivia stepped in, wearing a cream sweater and dark jeans. She looked different from yesterday. Not calm, not broken, but somewhere in between. Her eyes were soft, and when they met his, something inside Marcus shifted again. She walked toward the counter slowly. Her hands were not shaking today, but her breath seemed careful, like she was trying not to lose control. "Good morning," she said softly. Marcus swallowed. "Good morning," he replied. She waited for him to speak, but he waited too. Finally, she gave a small smile. "My usual," she said gently. "If you remember it." "I remember," Marcus replied. He prepared the drink with steady hands, even though his heart felt heavy with questions. When he handed it to her, she held the cup for a moment before looking back at him. "Can we talk again?" she asked quietly. "Not here. When you take your break." Marcus nodded without hesitation. "I take it in 30 minutes, he said. "I will wait," she replied. She walked to a corner table. She did not open her laptop like usual. She just sat quietly, staring at the cup in her hands, lost in her own thoughts. Those 30 minutes felt longer than the entire night. Marcus kept glancing at her, noticing how she held the cup tightly, how she sat with her shoulders drawn in slightly, like someone trying to protect themselves from a cold wind. When the time finally came, Marcus removed his apron and walked toward her table. His palms felt warm and his throat tight. He sat across from her slowly. "Thank you for waiting," he said. She nodded. "I needed to," she whispered. There was a small silence. Not an empty one, but a heavy one. "Olivia," Marcus said softly, "yesterday you looked scared." She closed her eyes for a moment, as if gathering strength. When she opened them, tears sat close but did not fall. "I did not mean to frighten you," she said. "I just reached a point where I could not hold everything inside anymore." Marcus waited, letting her speak at her own pace. "I come here because this place feels safe," she said. "Not because of the coffee, not because of the routine, but because of you." Marcus felt his chest warm and ache at the same time. "You are kind, Marcus," she continued. "You see people. You make people feel human. I do not get that anywhere else." He wanted to speak, but she shook her head gently. "There is something about you," she whispered. "Something steady, something calm, something that makes me feel like I can breathe." Her voice trembled slightly. "My life outside this cafe is heavy, too heavy. I deal with things that look perfect on the outside but hurt on the inside. I carry pain I never talk about." Marcus leaned forward just a little. "You do not have to tell me everything," he said softly, "but you can tell me something if it helps." Olivia looked at him with eyes full of sadness. "I walk into rooms filled with people, yet I feel alone. I go home to a place that looks warm, but it feels empty. I make choices because people expect them, not because they make me happy." Marcus felt something deep settle inside him. Yesterday, she said slowly, I walked in feeling like I was breaking apart. And when you looked at me, I felt seen, truly seen, and I could not pretend anymore. Olivia, Marcus whispered, I do not know everything about you, but I know you were hurting. She nodded. A tear slipped down her cheek. She wiped it quickly with the back of her hand. I do not want to scare you away, she said quietly. I just wanted to be honest. I wanted someone to hear me before I disappeared into all the noise of my life again. Marcus felt his breath catch. You did not scare me, he said gently. You surprised me, yes, but you did not scare me. She looked relieved, but also afraid. Can we talk again? She asked softly. Not today, but soon. I do not know why, but talking to you feels safe. Marcus nodded slowly. Yes, he said. We can talk. Olivia gave a small, grateful smile. Thank you, she whispered. As she stood and walked out of the café, Marcus felt something unfamiliar. Not fear, not confusion, but a quiet pull towards someone who clearly needed more than she could say. He watched her leave, not knowing that her truth was only beginning to surface, and the next time they spoke, everything would change again. Marcus left work that afternoon feeling heavier than he expected. He had talked to Olivia for only a short time, yet her words stayed inside him like something he needed to protect. He walked slowly toward the train station, replaying everything she said. She felt alone. She felt empty. She felt unseen in her own world. That truth settled deep in him and did not let go. When he reached his apartment, he sat on the edge of his bed, staring at his hands. He knew what loneliness felt like. He knew what silence could do to a person. Maybe that was why her sadness touched him in a way he could not explain. She looked like someone who carried a heavy load in her chest, someone who needed to speak before she fell apart. He could not stop seeing the quiet fear behind her eyes. That night he tried to relax, but the air in his room felt tight. He turned off the lights, hoping sleep would come, but sleep never arrived. Instead, he lay in the dark thinking about how her voice cracked when she said she felt alone. He thought about how her hands tightened around the cup like she needed something to hold on to. The next morning, he woke early again. The sky outside was still dim, and the city had not come alive yet. He got dressed slowly, grabbed his bag, and stepped outside. The train ride felt longer than usual. He stared at his reflection in the window, wondering why a woman who looked so successful would carry such sadness. When he reached the café, Sienna was already there. She looked at him closely and said, You have not stopped thinking about her, have you? No, Marcus answered quietly. She is hurting. Sienna leaned her elbow on the counter. Then be kind, but be careful, she said softly. People with that much pain sometimes hide things deeper than you can see. Marcus nodded. He knew Sienna meant well, but he also knew he could not ignore Olivia's pain. Something inside him pushed him toward her, not in a romantic way, yet, but in a human way, a way that felt like compassion. By noon, the cafe grew busy. Marcus tried to stay focused, but he caught himself glancing at the door, even though Olivia usually came early. She had said they would talk again soon, but he did not know what soon meant. Around 3 in the afternoon, the bell on the cafe door rang and Olivia walked in. She wore a simple black coat, and her hair was tied back gently. She looked calm, but her eyes told a different story. They looked tired, like she had spent the night fighting thoughts she could not control. She approached the counter slowly. Hi, she said with a soft smile. Hi, Marcus replied. You came later today. She nodded. I did not sleep much, she admitted. I needed time to breathe this morning. Marcus understood that feeling more than she could imagine. Would you like your usual? He asked gently. Yes, she said. Thank you. He prepared the drink quietly. When he set it on the counter, she picked it up, holding the cup with both hands as if it warmed something inside her. Are you taking a break soon? she asked. Marcus looked at the clock. In 10 minutes, he said. I will wait, she whispered. She went to the same corner table. She did not open her laptop again. She sat still, staring at the window, her shoulders low, her fingers wrapped around the cup. When Marcus finally joined her, she looked up with soft, tired eyes. Marcus, she said, I need to tell you something important. He sat quietly, giving her space. She took a slow breath. My life looks perfect from the outside, but it is not perfect inside, she said softly. People see me as strong, but I do not feel strong. Not at all. Marcus listened closely. I work in a world where people judge every move, she continued. They judge how I walk, how I speak, what decisions I make. They do not care if I am tired. They do not care if I am sad. They expect me to keep going, even when everything hurts. She placed her cup down and looked at her hands. My marriage ended because of lies and unkindness, she said. People think I moved on easily because they see my clothes and my job, but they do not see the nights I cry alone. They do not see how empty my home feels. They do not know how hard it is to trust again. Marcus felt something heavy settle in his heart. I come here, Olivia continued quietly, because you talk to me like a person, not like a title, not like a trophy. You speak kindly. You look at me without expecting anything. You make me feel human. Marcus swallowed. He did not expect her honesty to carry so much weight. Yesterday, she said, I broke a little. I did not mean to frighten you. I just felt something pulling me. Something that told me you saw me, even before I said anything. Marcus lowered his voice. I did see you, he said softly. I saw sadness in your eyes. Olivia's lips trembled slightly. Everyone sees my strength, she whispered. No one sees my sadness, except you. There was a moment of quiet. Marcus felt the air thicken with emotion. I wish I could be someone who did not feel so lost, she said. But I am lost, Marcus. He leaned forward just a little. You do not have to hide that from me, he said gently. She looked down, tears forming at the edges of her eyes. I am scared to trust anyone, she said, but sitting here with you makes me feel safe. Marcus felt something warm and painful move inside him. He spoke quietly. You are not alone today. Olivia let out a small breath, as if she had been holding it for hours. Thank you, she whispered. You have no idea how much that means. Marcus hesitated, then asked softly, Olivia, has someone hurt you recently? Her eyes lifted slowly. Pain sat clearly in them. Yes, she whispered. Someone from my past came back into my life, and I feel trapped again. Marcus felt a cold feeling move through him. Trapped how? He asked gently. She looked away, her fingers tightening around the cup. I cannot say yet, she said quietly. I am not ready. Marcus nodded. When you are ready, I will listen. A tear slid down her cheek. She did not wipe it away. Marcus, she whispered. I think something bad might happen soon. Marcus felt his breath catch. What do you mean? He asked. She looked at him with frightened eyes. I mean, she whispered, I do not feel safe anymore. Marcus felt his entire body still. He did not know it yet. But this moment was the beginning of a truth that would pull him deeper into a world he never expected. A world where Olivia's pain would soon reveal secrets far heavier than he imagined. Marcus felt a cold wave move through his body when Olivia whispered that she did not feel safe anymore. Those words stayed inside him as he sat across from her, watching the fear she tried to hide. He had never seen her so vulnerable. Her hands trembled slightly, not from the cold, but from something deeper, something she carried alone for too long. He leaned forward slowly, careful not to push her too fast. Olivia, he said softly, you can tell me whatever you feel ready to say. I am here. She took a slow breath, but her eyes looked distant, as if she was remembering something she wished she could forget. I do not want to bring trouble into your life, she whispered. You do not deserve any of this. Marcus shook his head gently. You are not bringing trouble. You are being honest. Sometimes honesty is painful, but it is better than pretending everything is fine. She looked at him with tired eyes. I have been pretending for so long, she said quietly. Pretending that I am strong, pretending that everything is under control, pretending that the past cannot touch me anymore. Marcus listened without interrupting her. My ex-husband reached out to me, she finally said. The same man who lied to me. The same man who broke me down little by little. I thought he was gone forever, but he found a way back into my life. Marcus felt a sharp ache in his chest. Did he threaten you? He asked carefully. Olivia lowered her gaze. Not with words, she said, but he knows how to break a person without saying a single threat. He knows the pressure points. He knows the silence that can crush someone's spirit. Marcus clenched his fingers together under the table, trying to control his anger. He did not know this man, but he could feel the damage he caused just by listening to Olivia speak. He wants control again, she continued. He wants to remind me that leaving him was a mistake. He wants to make me feel small. Marcus leaned closer. Olivia, you do not belong to him anymore, he said gently. He cannot control you. She shook her head. I know that in my mind, but my heart still remembers everything he did. It is strange how people can hurt you so deeply that even when they are gone, the fear still follows you. Marcus felt the weight of her words. He wanted to take that fear away, but he knew fear does not disappear with simple promises. She let out a slow breath. I came to the cafe yesterday because I needed somewhere safe, she whispered. I needed one place where my past could not reach me. Marcus understood now why her hands had shaken, why her whisper sounded like someone holding on to their last bit of strength. Olivia, he said softly, you are safe here. She looked at him, her eyes filling with tears. That is why I said what I said, she whispered. I felt safe with you. I felt seen. I did not plan to say those words. They came out because my heart could not hold them anymore. Marcus felt something deep inside him shift. He did not know what their relationship would become, but he knew one thing clearly. He cared about her. He cared more than he wanted to admit. She wiped the corner of her eye. I did not expect you to listen, she said. Most people turn away from broken things. Marcus shook his head. You are not broken, he said gently. You are hurt. Hurt can heal. Broken is final. You are not final. Her lips trembled into a small, sad smile. Thank you, she whispered. There was a silence between them, not heavy this time, but soft and warm. It felt like a moment where two people saw each other clearly, without masks or walls. Marcus, she said, I think I need someone to talk to. Not someone who wants something from me, not someone who pretends to care, but someone who listens. I will listen, Marcus said quietly. Any time you need. She nodded slowly, holding the cup close to her chest. I did not expect to find comfort in a coffee shop, she said, but I found it in you. Marcus felt his heart tighten gently. Sometimes life brings the right people when we do not expect them, he said. She took another breath, this one steadier than the last. I do not know where this connection between us will go, she said softly, but I know it matters. I know it feels real. I just need time to understand it. Marcus nodded. I will give you time, he said. There is no rush. She looked relieved, like a weight had lifted from her shoulders. Thank you, she whispered again. After a moment, Olivia stood slowly. I should go, she said. I have a long day ahead, and my mind is tired. Marcus rose from his seat as well. If you ever feel unsafe, he said, you can talk to me. I am not afraid to listen. Her eyes softened. That means more than you know. She walked toward the door, her steps gentle, her posture slightly straighter than before. When she pushed the door open, the outside light fell across her face, and for the first time since yesterday, she looked like she could breathe again. Marcus watched her leave, feeling a mix of worry and hope. He wanted her to heal. He wanted her to feel safe. But he also knew healing takes time, and safety is not always a place. Sometimes it is a person. When he returned to work, Sienna glanced at him. "Are you okay?" she asked. Marcus nodded slowly. "I think Olivia is going through more than she lets on," he said quietly. Sienna sighed. "Be her friend first," she said. "Let her guide the pace. People with deep pain need gentle steps." Marcus agreed. He spent the rest of the day moving through his tasks, but his thoughts stayed with Olivia. Her voice, her sadness, her honesty. Everything lingered inside him like a quiet echo. When he left the café that evening, the Chicago sky was covered in soft clouds. The wind brushed against his face, cool and steady. He walked slowly, thinking about everything Olivia shared. She trusted him with her truth. Not fully, but enough to show she needed someone who would not judge her. As he approached the train station, Marcus whispered to himself, "I will not let her walk through this alone." He knew the days ahead would not be simple. Olivia had wounds that would take time to heal, and her past might return with more force. But Marcus felt something strong inside him, something steady. Not love yet, but something close, something that could grow. For now, he held on to one promise in his heart. He would be there when she needed someone to see her, someone to listen, someone to remind her she was not alone in this world. Dear viewers, this story reminds us that even the strongest faces can hide silent pain, and even the quietest hearts can carry heavy wounds. Marcus and Olivia showed us that kindness is not loud. It is gentle. It does not force, it listens. It does not rush, it waits. This story teaches us that sometimes all a broken soul needs is one safe place, one soft voice, one human being who sees them without judgment. If this story touched you in any way, please comment where you are watching from and tell us what you learned from it. Your words matter, your voice matters, and your presence in this family matters. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share this story with someone who needs comfort today. And if you want more stories from us, emotional stories filled with depth, kindness, and healing, comment more stories, and you will be the first to receive the next one. Before you go, answer these 3 questions in the comments. 1. Do you believe one simple act of kindness can change someone's entire life? 2. Which moment in this story touched your heart the most, and why? 3. If you were in Marcus's place, would you choose to help Olivia even without knowing her full story? We cannot wait to read your thoughts.